Hey watch lovers, Brad from Brent Miller Jewelers. And today I have for us two Seiko Alpinist models, both with green dials. And really my question for you today is, which green dial Alpinist do you prefer? In my left is the SPB 155, and in my right is the SPB 121. So let's go over the case dimensions real quick. On the 155 on my left here, I measured this above the crown diagonally across at 37.9 millimeters, so essentially 38 millimeters. And then across the polished bezel, 36.5, so not quite all the way to the edge of the case, a little bit smaller. And the crystal itself, I measured at 31 millimeters. So again, 31 millimeter crystal. Essentially, I think it does wear like a true to size at 38 millimeters. And on the SPB 121, I measured that at 39.3, so it's listed at 39.5, so pretty close to that size. Across just the polished bezel, 37.4, so about a millimeter larger than the 155, and the crystal itself at 32 millimeters, so 1 millimeter larger for the crystal. Again, when you're looking at those side by side, it's, I think, really not noticeable. But both, while very similar, definitely different feel and look when you're looking at those dials. We'll get to that in a second. The 155 was 13.1 millimeters thick, 46 millimeters lug tip to lug tip. The 121 here was 12.8, so just slightly thinner, and the exact same 46 millimeters lug tip to lug tip. 20 millimeter lug width on both, tapering to 18 at the last link, and then the deployant clasp here was back out to 20 on our 155 model. Obviously, you can see it's an all brushed solid stainless steel bracelet. The 121 here, 20 millimeters, tapering down to 18, and then the deployant clasp here with the leather strap was back out to actually 21 at the widest point. So again, that's the widest point of the buckle itself, but really it does taper to 18 here. So again, very similar in size. 121 being slightly larger. Both exhibition case backs, Seiko 6R 3.5 movement, 70 hours of power reserve. Both models have unsigned screw down crowns, 200 meters of water resistance on both. Both of them retail at $725. And then as far as weight, I did measure on the full stainless steel bracelet, 143.5 grams versus on the leather strap at 86.8 grams. So really, I mean, very similar in size. Obviously, when you're starting to look at the dials, you can see we do have different textures here. We have more of a granular kind of gradient green, darker green dial that kind of fades to black at the minute chapter ring here, compared to our inner rotating bezel, compass bezel on the 121. If you're not familiar with this model, you do have the extra crown here that allows you to rotate. I'm not going to pretend that I would actually be able to use it, but you know, you do have an inner bezel there that does rotate with that additional crown. Additionally, you have the Cyclops here with a white date wheel. So, you know, obviously a little bit easier to see the date compared to the 155 here. I'm sorry, the minute hand. There you go, black date wheel at 3 o'clock, no Cyclops. So again, very similar watches, yet very differently executed. More brushed versus the polished here case on the 121. And it actually is polished more than I thought. I think I'm looking straight down here, the all brushed bracelet, but you do have the sides are polished as well. So again, both great models. Just genuinely curious to see if you have a strong preference towards one or the other. Traditionally, I would normally say I prefer the brushed bracelet, but something about the polished markers I think just pop on the sunray finish green dial on the 121 to my eye. Again, kind of more of a matte, almost field, you know, more of a field feel to this, where this may be a little bit more of a dress feel. And the Arabics here do appear to be painted on. I don't think they are applied, just looking at that through my phone here. Whereas you do have applied and again polished indices on the 121. So let me throw these on wrist real quick. I'll wrap this video up. Again, I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist. Both of these fit fantastic on me on both of them, regardless of which model you would choose. Ideally, I think I would love to see a. I know there are aftermarket options here for the 121 to be put on bracelet, and I do like the strap, but I'd love to see a bracelet version. I think offered stock on this model. I'll hit the lights real quick. Obviously, these are not lume monsters, but we'll see what we have. Again, low lit room, a couple computers on in here, but you do have, to be truthful, it's actually better than I thought. I knew the hour hands were marked, but those hour indices do show up better than I anticipated. Right here, again, I just had a quick 5 to 10 seconds with my ring light on these, and they look pretty good. So, as always, if there's anything I can do for you, shoot me an email, brad@brentmillertime. Let me know which one of these green Alpinists you prefer in the comment section, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks for viewing.